Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to a very nice episode 69 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. I'll handle this since you pre-cracked again.
I did pre-crack, yeah. Episode 69.
Nice. I
can't believe it's been this many episodes at this point. That's just like it blows my mind. Shout out to Hinkle. We bring him up a lot on here. He was the one that was like, you guys are 2 episodes away from episode 69. I'm like, no, we're not. Like, oh yeah, we are.
He's had a big countdown going on for this one for sure. Hopefully we don't disappoint. Speaking of Hinkle, speaking of the Elks, a little bit of a potentially tough week for you. I would like to say, you've maybe been exposed as potentially the biggest sandbagger at the club.
Maybe.
Within the last week.
Maybe. I'm high up on the rankings.
You are. I know.
I just don't know how you can be a sandbagger at a plus handicap, but
not giving the course enough strokes.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah. We were set to play our 2-man match play yesterday before the rain rolled in, and I'm like giving back like 4 shots from the white tees. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Hey, 68, actually even par, bud. Take it down the road.
You're like Bryson. It's a par 68 for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your boy,
gosh,
Country Club Snob, got outed on Twitter.
Dude, a tough week. It has been a tough.
I told you it's tough. You're taking some L's.
He used to do the Sunday sermons on there about life and business, and I didn't get that on Sunday because he got outed. Like, I guess the story goes, he got outed on Friday night. Someone in the comments was like, Country Club Snob is Joe Spanu. I
don't even know.
Joe whatever. And like the next morning, he turned off all the comments on his post.
Ooh.
And then Saturday he played. So I think what happened was he played it off like he got hacked, and then just like shut it down. Because like all these weird pictures started getting posted and all this stuff. Look, the Snob he's one step ahead of everybody. I think he knew this is how he was going to shut it down. Like, got hacked, shut it down.
Okay.
But I miss him. I miss him dearly.
Yeah, this was a you thing, so I never got into it like you did.
I can't believe it. Man, I wish I'd just screenshotted all of his posts so you could like dive into what he was all about. And for those that have not followed Country Club Snob on Twitter or X or whatever, if you're not on there, essentially this guy created this account, like an alter ego, I guess, or parody, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
As like a top tier club member. Your members at Oakmont and, Wingfoot, like essentially how they acted. Now, I think people thought that, and maybe I'll say this. Someone said this, and I didn't think about this. The dude was a talented writer because he had people believing, and I truly believe this. He had people believing that that's the life he was actually living.
Right.
When he wasn't, but he knew enough. And if you read some of his blog posts, he did some blog posts on golf courses and stuff, the actual guy.
Sure.
He's a well-traveled golfer. Like, he's gotten some invites to some places, and he knows some people. But, like, he was a talented writer, and so he created this alter ego of, like, a top-tier club member and, pores, trademark, like, he'd call people pores. Yeah. Like, hey, if you wear 5 logos in the same day, you're poor. You know what I mean? That's what poor people do. Like, so it was awesome. And Gunth is the only one that really followed along with it, like I did. But he got outed. Apparently he got doxxed or outed, with the assistance of the assistant pro at the golf course he's a member at, which is I'm going to say this for this assistant pro as nicely as I can. He is probably unemployed today. You can not do that. Like, even if you didn't agree, some of the stuff he put on there was getting a little wild. It was, I'll admit that. Even for my taste, it was getting the hair out there. But that's essentially why this assistant pro was like outed him. He was like, we don't need that vitriol and hate in golf or whatever. And it's like, if you took it literally, yes, it was ugly.
Yeah.
If you took it as a parody account, it was funny. But he took it literally and outed this guy. Well, helped people out him, essentially.
Gotcha.
So, R.I.P. Country Club Snob. You will be dearly missed.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Gosh. All right. I don't know how to live life after this, but.
Well, we can start by asking people to please subscribe, rate, and review our show. We can't be outed because we live. we're living our personas. Maybe. So at Back96Pack, wherever you get your social media. And then please, like I said, subscribe, rate, and review the show. In our episode descriptions, there is a link you can click to send us a text message. We will, again, get into some fan mail. Thank you to those who sent some in. Some pretty good ones. I actually bumped it up in the show tonight because it's. I think it'll give us a chance to.
Yeah, I want to see more of them. We've got a couple good ones this week.
Yeah, I think these are good conversations for us to have on this specific podcast.
Yes, 100%.
So we'll get into that in a minute. First, a little bit of our golf update. We got off the home course on Friday.
We did because of an outing.
Yep, and it was not kind to me. The road game did not go well.
You got thrown into the Thunderdome.
Yeah, I think I got
the Friday money game.
Everything that's been bad about my golf game this year, which is specifically off the tee, was absolutely exposed.
And it does get exposed at that course.
Yeah.
Like out of bounds on 15 holes on both sides of 15 holes. Like, and they're not all tight, but if you get it moving, like it becomes pretty tight. Well, and then you know how it is. It's like it just shrinks on you, right? Like visually.
Dude, when you're dealing with a two-way miss, the hole is already so small to begin with. Like, and then you actually put legitimate out of bounds and houses, and you have nowhere to hide.
Yeah. And then you just, I mean, like I've warned everybody about this Friday money game. If you don't go out and play well, it gets expensive. It can get a little expensive.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I do want to say, so for anyone that's local to the area, we played Beckett Ridge Golf Club. It's in Westchester.
Used to be a private club.
Yeah, Westchester, Ohio, for anyone who doesn't know where it is. I had not played this for more than like a decade, and I remember not liking it when I played it back then. And I think this just reaffirmed my thoughts and beliefs. Now, I would like to say, one, a lot of this is not the golf course's fault. Like, it's just stunk.
Yeah, and there's just certain courses like you just don't play well.
Yeah, but I will also say, while I say that the course is a disgrace. Sorry to anybody who likes Beckett Ridge.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a big fan of, like, out of bounds on, you want to have out of bounds on a handful of holes on, like, one of the sides, like, right, down the right side or down the left side on a few of the, and then that typically happens just because, if a golf course is built in near a neighborhood or near a road, like, there's going to be at least one hole without a bounds at some point, right?
Yeah.
Or a couple. But having 15 holes winding through a neighborhood and having out of bounds on 15 holes and on both sides of the hole is asinine.
Truly.
To say the least.
Yeah. So we played it laterally too, just to like keep things moving. Bro, I still shot 88. I might have shot 100 if I had to keep reteeing.
How many balls did you actually hit out of bounds though? I don't think it was like a ton.
Well, there was 2 on one hole.
Oh yeah.
Because I I hit a provisional. I was just trying to work through stuff, it didn't work out. Probably at least 5.
Oh yeah. I guess it was a lot.
It had to be at least 5.
Maybe I just like blacked out and didn't remember them.
But then it was like once that starts happening, I'm already like way in my head off the tee. I like chunk shanked a driver on one hole.
Yeah, that was bad.
Don't even know how I did that. I don't think I've ever done that in my life.
Dude, I told you we played our city mid-am out there last year, and I was in the last group. I played well the first day, playing with arguably the best mid-am golfer in Ohio, who played at Pepperdine, super talented golfer. And Roy is, I mean, he played in the Western Am. Like, he's a pretty established amateur golfer. Dude, we hit like 15 or 16 provisionals that day.
Yeah.
Like with those guys, like, so you take a normal person out there, like even worse than you, like it's just going to get ugly, fast.
Yeah. So it was tough. The money game situation, look, shout out to Adam, just like really played well.
For stints. But like
that's what matters in that game.
But he dotted us up.
Yeah, he dotted the closest to the pins, the skins, all the stuff, the way you can do that.
His line of the scorecard look had chicken box, man.
Yeah. So shout out to him for that. Luckily, I escaped with a couple closest to the pins.
You did.
Which
in the big game,
somehow in the full game, because I was Adam's partner, we won.
You tied the back with us,
9, which was our first 9, and was able to like save myself.
You did, and that typically that doesn't happen when you get exposed in that Friday game. Typically, it just all was gone. You don't win any money.
Yeah, that's
typically how my Fridays go when I lose a bunch of money.
It was basically like every it was par double, like just on repeat. I don't even know like how it was just horrible. Everything was bad. I did say the one thing that it was sort of a silver lining. I finally decided it was like, okay, driver, you're in the bag. I usually don't bench it. Usually I try to work through it.
You did, and you hit that 3-wood good.
Pulled the 3-wood out, started hitting fairways. The tight draw was back. I text Nick. I was like, we got the member guest coming up Friday. If it's real bad, at least I know I can probably navigate.
Which is so weird because you're making the same swing.
I know.
That's why it's like it's all mental at this point. Yeah. It has nothing to do with your swing. You're just, I think it's mental, and you're making a different swing with the driver than you are the 3-wood.
Possibly, but yeah, it's totally I'm thinking way too much.
Yeah,
I gotta do less.
Way too much.
I need my guy Kunu out there. Do less.
Way less.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're still working through that. Hey, you played pretty well that day. What'd you shoot?
Even. 72.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played good. Couple holes, but for the most part I played pretty good.
I mean, it was so bad. What was it? It was our 10th hole. We got the little turn
that was a low
turn brought. So I finally hit a really good drive, hits the power lines, automatic re-tee. That one goes right. And I'm sitting there, we're behind some trees or whatever, and I'm like, dude, I think I can just kind of hook one around. And I hit this thing on the screws, turn it over a little too much, hits a tree probably like 100 yards away from me, immediately out right
into someone's backyard.
Yeah, into somebody's hammock.
Yeah, there was a hammock right there. I forgot about that.
I was just like, I'm done. Like from that, I was just like, there's nothing. I got nothing.
Oh, yeah. So. The whole power line thing was an omen.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I knew I had to re-tee that, I was just like, come on.
Oh, you striped it. Oh, my gosh. And which, by the way, power lines on golf course, another country club snob thing, power lines national. That's what he always used to make fun of courses with power lines. I hate it for that reason.
Yeah.
Like there should never be a Momo you hit a drive or a shot and it hits a power line. You have to re-hit it.
Yeah, that's tough.
Unless it's going in the water, then I really love power lines.
Yeah, I guess that's true. There is an opportunity to save you, I guess.
But it never will. No. It would never. It'll only hurt you.
Yeah, you only hit it when it's a good shot.
Yep.
Adam did the same thing. So
yeah, 2 power lines in 1 hole.
Okay, well, on from there, we had today. You played the Ohio Mid-Am.
Yep.
At Coldstream.
Played well.
You got a sick hat on, by the way. I just want the listeners to know this. They gave you a hat. It's a nice red Imperial.
So
the Ohio Golf Association logo is fire.
Their logo is top notch.
Yeah, the 1904, the trophy.
And the trophy in the center is the trophy for the Ohio AM.
Gotcha.
That's the trophy in the center.
Yeah.
But they, shout out to them putting on a top notch tournament too. Leaving the course and all that aside, this is my first Ohio Mid-Am I've played in. Dude, you got a hat, bag tag, roll in there thinking I was going to have to pay for a cart because you could have carts. Didn't have to pay for a cart. It was already included. Then they're like, lunch is inside. I'm like, okay. Like, don't mind if I do. And it was a good lunch. I was like, okay. Like, I was a little soured by how expensive it was for a guaranteed 2-day, maybe 3-day tournament. But I was like, well, I mean, think about it. Like, if they made it $100 cheaper, I'd end up spending it on the cart and lunch anyway. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know, the price tag matches what you get for it. But Coldstream is It's just unbelievable. It's such a good course. And today it got windy. I don't know if the morning rounds were as windy. I think it was windy, but it wasn't what we got in the afternoon. The afternoon was pretty atrocious. Like,
Gotcha.
it got up to about 15, 20. I think I told you before we came on here, before we teed off, I was talking to the guys in my group. I said, I'd be surprised if there were more than 1 or 2 people under par. We ended up getting 3. I definitely didn't think anybody would be in the 60s. There was one guy in the 60s, but that happens. Like, you get enough good golfers out there, someone's going to catch a little bit of fire and end up, but usually in these tournaments, like, it's 3 or 4 guys in the 60s and there's 1 in the 60s and only 2 people under par. So that kind of lights how difficult it played today. But I don't know. I played pretty good. I only, I had a bogey streak on my back 9. Driving the ball is the utmost importance on that course. Like, you not like keeping it in play, like fairway. You have to be in the fairway.
Yeah.
The rough wasn't super long, but they overseeded it so much. It's even cut down. It's thick.
Yeah. And
you don't get good lies. It nestles down. So you have to and I hit some really good drives and just had a couple go a little wayward on me. And that's when it was, I was talking to someone that played in the morning. They're like, if you don't keep it in the fairway, there's a double bogey like right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's like, and he's like, if you don't hit the fairway, he's like, just try to bogey. And I did. Like, the 2 holes I had missed fairways on, I'm like, all right, if I make 4, whatever, just try to make bogey. You had a bad shot, whatever. And I did that. No doubles today. I only had 2 birdies. Really only a couple that I missed that I would say like were quote unquote makeable, Sure. But other than that, I putted pretty well. Sand game is just like, we get on the last hole. I hit a bunker, like a 30-yard bunker shot to like 5 feet. And the guy in my group's like, he's like, you're a fucking wizard out of the bunkers. Cause I was in like 5 bunkers today.
Yeah.
And every one of them was, one I almost hold out. I hit it to like an inch.
Yeah.
But he was like, you're a goddamn wizard. And I'm like, I get a lot of practice. I hit a lot of bunkers. I don't know what it is. I end up in so many bunkers for whatever it is. But no, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Top 40 in ties, make the 3rd day. I think I'm in like 21st, tied for 21st right now. So
yeah,
just another solid score tomorrow. I'll be playing on Wednesday. And then top 10 in ties, get an exemption into the Ohio Am next year. So that's the ultimate goal.
Gotcha. So is this just a qualifier or?
No, it's a tournament, but like they
okay.
give exemptions from the Mid-Am into the Ohio Am next year.
Gotcha.
So you don't have to, the Ohio Am does have qualifiers.
Right.
And then there's exemptions and stuff, but this is one of the exemptions. So if you come in top 10 in ties, that gets you exempt in the Ohio Am, which I think is in Zanesville next year. But
nice.
I qualified for the Ohio Am 3 years ago, ended up not being able to play in it because it was on a vacation, like during a vacation we had planned. So I really want to get back into that. And this would be, I'm going to play a qualifier next year if I have to, but this would be the easy way to get in. So
nice. So does that mean Wednesday League is in question for you?
Well, Wednesday League is out in general because we had to reschedule our 2-man match play. So hypothetically speaking, if I make the cut, I'm going to have to play in the morning, drive from Coldstream to our course and play our match at 3:30.
So 36s might be in the cards for you.
If I make the cut, yeah.
Whew, man, that'll be a grind for you.
Built different.
Yeah, built different.
Although I'm like completely exhausted today after 18 holes riding.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're out there in the wind, grinding it out, it's,
Yeah, and like I felt like my lips were going to fall off the windburn is, to me, windburn is worse than sunburn. That's a hot take, I know that. But it just feels like it sneaks up on you. Like, if you don't wear sunscreen, you're going to get sunburn, right?
You can feel it coming, yeah.
There's not a lot you can do for windburn, to prevent it.
Just like put some petroleum jelly all over your just lather up in some Vaseline.
Just lather your entire face with petroleum jelly.
Yeah,
that's really the only way you can protect from it. Like, there's really no other way. So, but we're off at 8:30 tomorrow. So, early morning.
Early start.
Very early, considering it's 40 minutes away.
Okay.
So,
Well, Godspeed. I'll be tracking it. All right. Well, we've talked about the member guest a million times by now, but Friday member guest as well.
Yep. I already talked to my partner today. We laid out what the absolute bare minimum is, and it's what me and Guns shot. So
That's
anything higher than that, unacceptable.
Well, that would be some good shooting because that was a really good score that day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nick and I have yet to formulate a game plan. We're getting there. We'll talk more as the week goes on.
I mean, I just love this format so much.
I know, that's
so
the thing.
happy
I'm excited to do it again.
Like 2 weeks later, I'm excited that we're doing it again.
My only fear is just like knowing what we squeezed every like last bit of juice out of the orange on that day.
Yeah.
Me and Ryan did to shoot that score. It'll be interesting to see what comes around Friday.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's always interesting when you have a guest out there that doesn't know the course like we do. So it's like, how much can you squeeze? Because you guys, like all members, are going to make putts and know where to miss and hit chips.
True.
It's like, how good is that from your guest, essentially, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, too, because so easier for you, I think, than me. You're the better player of you and your partner. So, like...
Yeah, your partner being better than you, your guest being better than you.
Yeah. So, like,
Tough
how much
spot.
how much can I really coach him? Like, do I just need to let him, like, play his game? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I
think maybe if I just... Some of the stuff about, like, all right, I know this putt's going to do this, or I know you want to be over here, that kind of stuff.
I think sometimes, like, not having the scar tissue on certain holes helps people, too.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's the balance?
Like, we step up on 8, right? Like, if you have a shot to hit that green in 2, it's like we step on 8, like, cannot miss it left.
Yeah.
And then you end up blowing it dead right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're playing it and you've only played it a handful of times, you don't have that scar tissue of, like, 2 weeks ago, I told myself not to miss it left and snap hooked it in the shit. Like, you know what I mean? So
that's true.
There's something to be said for that.
More
too.
like just see the shot, hit the shot.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a good player, you can obviously do that more often. So
yeah, and you're not thinking about the misses rather than just like, all right, just hit it. You know, just hit the ball forward.
All right. On 6 red, will I be on 6 red, on 4 red, or on 8 red?
I think you're going to be on 4. I really do.
I think the over adjustment's finally coming.
No, you think so?
I'm going to go over on 8.
You think you're going to be by the water cooler?
8 or 7, yeah. I think it's time for I've blown this right so many times.
It's snap hook.
Yeah. We'll see.
You should just aim it down like 8. And if you hit it straight, great. But if you hit that high blooper, it's going to be right down the middle of the fairway.
Yeah. But that just brings so much more trouble in aiming left there.
There's so much more trouble left.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that creek's not very wide. It is a magnet for balls. It's an absolute magnet. It's like 2 feet wide. I've been in there like 4 times.
I know. Do you know when they pull handicaps or if they've done that already?
I would guess they probably pull them on Wednesday.
Okay.
Which I'm going to get real boned from the score today.
So yeah, you're going to take that. So I was close. There's a divider, 6.7 and higher plays the whites, right? I got to 6.8 after last week in league, but that 88 on Friday put me back up to 7.1. So I think
you're safely on the white tees.
Unless I drop like a 32 Wednesday night and they pull on Thursday. Which
I'm going to guess they're pulling on Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
They start building the stuff out. Like they're not busy during the day on Wednesday, so
sure.
I'm sure that's when they're going to like start building the scorecards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
I'll be curious to see what our strokes look like.
They might have already pulled them today. For all we know.
True. Either way, I think we'll be good. Okay. Remember, guests, that'll be fun. We'll break that down next Monday.
It's just so God. I'm so happy that I get to play that format again 2 weeks later. It's just a cool.
Yeah, and I played the member guest the first year we were members. I haven't played it since. So
you had. It was you and
Matt.
Yeah, you and Matt. That's right. And then I had Kyle. That's right.
Yeah,
that was a good day.
You guys were like holing out from bunkers all over the place. That was tough.
But we didn't win. I think we came in like 5th or something like that.
Yeah, but still, it was...
My guy he's on the couch right now. So he had surgery, but we won it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think we finished we didn't finish bad last year. I think we were like third or fourth. So we had a good showing, just not the win that we got the year before. So.
Right. I need to win this. You know what? I've seen enough of you winning.
If I win another event, I'm going to go straight to the top of the sandbaggers list.
You're going to be getting
sure.
back 6 shots next year in these tournaments.
No, you got to. I found myself some 10s that I can coach down to 7s. That's.
You just have to keep reaching farther and farther down.
Just if you're not going to put a handicap cap on it, like differential, I might just find me a 20 that I can coach down to a 14, and then we're going to win by 3 or 4.
Yep. Then the place will riot.
Yeah,
they'll have you crucified out there on the well at that point. Anyway, all right. Like I said, move the fan mail section up this week. Had a couple good questions I just wanted to talk about. Get us on the record.
I have not read them yet, by the way.
So, one, shout out to Pat. He actually sent us an email, not a fan mail, but that's cool. We'll take emails as well.
Yeah, heck yeah, email.
back96back@gmail.com. He says, really enjoyed the McGonigal recap. Congrats to both of you on the win and third place finish. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And he proudly rocked his Patio Beers hat.
He did. And it looked real good on him.
Still have those, by the way. Anybody wants one, hit us up.
It looked really good on him.
Clean, white, Patio Beers font in the front. Real nice.
And by the way, apologies to him and Tom. They were the ones that beat me in alternate shot.
That's right.
Beat me in Gunther alternate shot.
You're right. So
yeah,
Tommy Turndogs and Big Pat.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. Yep. They were the ones. He was like, I was listening to the show and he was like, we were the ones that beat you. Like he was like yelling at the car. So
that's great. Anyway, his question. So he says, my question for consideration is about club throwing. This is talking about after you threw a club in McGonigal as well. Do you throw the club tomahawk style or helicopter style? What's the go-to?
That's a good question. It depends.
Okay.
So if you go for if you're really hitting the ball bad, this is when it's real bad.
Yeah.
The follow through to the tomahawk is my favorite. But you can't do that if you're like even par and you hit one bad shot. Like that cannot be it.
Right.
Right. That's if you're like, I'm 14 over. Hit another iron, tomahawk, into the follow through tomahawk.
Yep.
My favorite when I'm just trying to get my one club throw in, if I'm a little frustrated at like a part of my game, is the full wind up like frisbee throw.
The backhand?
The backhand frisbee throw. That is my go-to for most of my club throwing.
Yeah. I will say I don't throw clubs anymore because I big time tomahawked a 5-iron at Miami Whitewater golf course on hole 11. One of those days where you're just like not hitting your irons good and you hit one more really shitty one. Tomahawked it straight into the ground and it snapped in half.
That can happen.
I have since never again thrown a club.
Do you do it like directly in front of you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's the dangerous tomahawk. We don't.
It was probably about 6 feet away from me.
That's called the kill shot tomahawk.
Yeah.
That will kill your club.
It did.
But like the tomahawk, like into the follow through, and you just like whip it out there.
Right.
That's not going to break a club like that. But yeah, you tomahawk it right in front of you. That's going to be.
Yeah. So I don't suggest that. That's bad. I'm just more of a club drop guy. I'm the follow through and just let it go.
You do drop your club a lot.
I'm a club drop guy. So we limit the throws now.
I did have one in the Stampede that I tomahawked into the ground like you just said not to do. And it didn't break. It like recoiled.
Yes.
And like sprung up in the air. And Joe, who we were playing, was like, I don't know how they didn't break. I'm like, I don't know either. But he goes, that recoil was so cool.
Dude, yeah. When I threw that one that broke, like it made that sound. But then like when it snapped, it was almost like the sound of like swords like clinking off one another. It was like the craziest like sword vibrating sound. It was wild. So yeah, that's... I do agree with you though. The follow through and then just kind of like laissez-faire toss. You don't have to do it hard. It's more of just like I'm done.
Man, I threw one like a week ago that I legitimately frisbee threw it 60 yards. Like there was so much built up anger behind that throw. It's a really good throw.
You're like Judge Smales.
it was such a good throw. And I limit myself to one. Like, if I need it, if I do need it, I will do it. Because you got to have an energy release. You have to. Like, if it's that built up, it's only going to make the next shot worse. When I get the club throw out, I'm good. Like, all that anger is gone.
Yeah.
That's why I give myself one.
That's smart. I mean, if you know what your body and your mind needs, and
it's a release. Yeah, it's a release.
But you also know your limits, so that's good too.
Yeah. If I throw more than one, it's just going to become a habit.
Yeah, and that's you're just going to keep building on your anger at that point.
Yep,
and then something bad will happen. You'll break it.
That's when you will break a club.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly when you'll break a club.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we found a little consensus on that. Next question comes from our guy John. He's listened for a long time. Shout out, John. His question: can you guys talk about things for us weekend warriors to work on to have more consistent feel on the golf course? Also, how to get better when time is not on our side for those of us with families. I feel like we've talked about this quite a bit, just like over the 1.5, 2 years we've been doing this. I mean, there's lots of things I think here. For me, I don't play or practice as much as you do. You play competitively, so I think you found a pretty good balance for you in terms of like being able to prepare for tournaments.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
It's like a shotgun. Like, it's like, don't do anything for weeks, and then it's like 4 days before I get like 2 practices in.
Is that really how you do it?
Yeah, like most of the time that's really how it happens. Like, and like this tournament that I'm playing in, I've just been playing enough golf that it doesn't really matter. I don't really need the practice. But like Sunday, we went out and played like 5 holes when our match got canceled. I didn't really work on anything. I was just like, I just want to come out here and make good swings and have good thoughts and then leave. Yeah. And that's essentially what I did. We literally played 5 holes, made like 6 good swings, and I was like, all right, I'm good. And that was it.
Yeah. For me, a couple things. One, I really do feel like if you have like a putting mat or something like that at home,
anything you can do at home.
Yeah. Like, especially if you work from home and you get breaks here and there throughout the day, like just pick up a club. I try to do that every day this winter. I'd failed on my overall goal, but I think just having the club in my hand helped me get off to a better start this spring. Like I said, putting at home is good. 2, I think if you're playing or like you got to be 1, decisive, and 2, try to stack things too.
Yeah.
So like if you're playing and you can get out there an hour early or whatever,
that becomes a practice session before you play. Yeah.
So that's a thing.
Well, that's what I do. I mean, like in the beginning of the season when I'm trying to get practices in, I'll get the league night an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes early and do like a practice session into league.
Right.
So it's like I'm not out here more like I'm not taking another day to practice. It's all in one day,
Right.
So
yeah, for me, and one thing I think I've learned too, as I mentioned earlier, I've been struggling off the tee, trying to like make practice, like work on something specific.
Yes.
So like
that was going to be
just because I'm struggling with driver, not just hitting 50 drivers on the range.
Yes.
Like last week, I think this really helped me. I did a little bit of reading and stuff, which I'll get to that in a minute. But trying to like focus more on like, okay, let's sync the body and the arms and the hit, like get everything in sync. So instead of just like pounding drivers, I was literally took out my 9-iron and I was hitting like half shots or 3/4 swings or whatever, just to feel like I was in rhythm with my swing, and I started hitting more consistent shots. And I really think that translated to my round that night. I shot 38. I had a couple sloppy bogeys, but that was more short game related. And I hit the ball really well. Friday we come out, no practice, nothing, whatever, try to go play, get out of sync, whatever. So long story short, I think having a focal point too is better than just like going and just beating a bunch of balls.
Correct. So that kind of builds onto this. So my favorite thing to do is an hour, right? Everybody's got an hour that they could probably get out there, hour practice, go home. You start tipping 2 hours. That's when it's like your wife's calling you, you got to take the kids to this, whatever. Every amateur golfer in any practice session should be spending 30 minutes on a putting green, period. So my favorite practice session is 30 minutes on a putting green, I go over and get a medium bucket of balls, which I think is like about 60 balls, maybe probably less than that. It's probably about 50. Mm-hmm. And I'll warm up with a wedge, and then I work my way through clubs of like, then it's a 9 iron, then it's a 7 iron, 5 iron, driver. And you get swings in, right? And you can work on some things, but you're also done in like 30 minutes. But at the bare minimum, an amateur golfer is going to save way more shots on the putting green than they will on the range. And they should automatically, if you have an hour, 30 minutes of it should be spent on a putting green.
Yeah. And if you can, chip a little bit too. Honestly, just working on different shots around
like
the green.
If you can maybe take 10 of those minutes, and I wouldn't even specifically say just chipping. Like I would put some balls down and 3 balls down and like try to get up and down. So now you're chipping and putting.
Right.
And kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, essentially.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes should be spent short game.
Right.
And most of that putting.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to focus on any kind of putting drills, I always prefer to do speed drills.
Yep.
Over anything. Just like trying to
because that's what everybody struggles with. I mean, line is line, right? But if you miss the line and you have good speed, the most you're going to have is like 2 or 3 feet.
Exactly.
If you hit the line with bad speed, you could have 10 feet, 8 feet. Like that's when that'll save you shots for sure.
Yeah. Same as like your full game, right? Like the more often you're pin high, the better you're going to score.
Correct.
Same thing with putting. The more often that you're got the right speed on it.
Yeah.
The more often you're going to either make them or have, eliminate 3 putts, essentially.
But I would say if you have an hour, like stacking things is always good. So if you're playing, get out there, you can get a little practice session in before. Or just like if you have an hour, 30 minutes on the putting green, 50 range balls. And if you wanted, I wouldn't even mind if you're like, I'm hitting my irons like crap. You work through all your irons with 50 balls, I would have no problem with that.
Yeah. I think too.
I just wouldn't hit. If you're struggling with driver, I would quickly work your way through irons to your driver, but I wouldn't go out and hit 50 drivers. You know what I mean?
No. 2 final things for me. One, I'm bad at this because I think my inclination whenever I have time for golf is always like, oh, I'm going to get 18 in. I'm going to squeeze 18 in somehow. It might be better off go practice for an hour and play 9 holes.
That would be 100%. Like if you don't think you can get 18 in, that is 100% the play.
Yeah, or just don't force 18. Like 3 hours is, if you have 3 hours, get some practice at 9 in. Don't,
Yeah, practice for an hour, go play 9 holes. Or practice for an hour and 15 minutes and then go play 9 holes.
Yeah, so that's one thing. 2, I mentioned like I was quote unquote reading something. Trying to self-diagnose is not great, obviously. Go see a PGA pro.
Yes.
This is absolutely something, if you have an hour to practice or time to play, go get a lesson. They're not as expensive as you might think they are.
No.
These are people that are professionals in the field. They know what they're doing. Going to get a lesson, just having someone else look at it and give you something to like feel or think about or work on, so much better than watching an Instagram reel and trying to figure it out.
Or videoing your own swing. Like if you...
That too.
I would say if you're under a 2 handicap, you can probably video your own swing and go, oh, okay, I usually do this, whatever. If you're over a 2 handicap, you should not be self-diagnosing through a video of your own swing. Go get like that. I would say 4 years ago, I was at like a 2.1 handicap. And I was that amateur golfer that was like, I don't need lessons. Like I've taken lessons my entire life. I don't need lessons. Made a conscious effort because I kept seeing the stuff of guys that were like way better at golf than me that still see a PGA professional about their swing. And I was like, okay, if they're doing it, then I need to. And I did. And I've, over the next 4 years, I dropped 3.5 shots off my game and I was already at a 2. So you definitely need, yeah, and they're not like everybody's like, oh, it's going to be like $200 an hour. Well, yeah, the guy that Sean Foley, who's a top 5 PGA teaching pro in the world, yeah, he probably is $200 or $300 an hour or a half hour. But your local PGA pro at your public or club or whatever is not that expensive.
Exactly,
and it's 100% worth the money.
Absolutely,
100. And if you're a 14, 15 handicap easily cut off 5 shots within a couple years of taking lessons.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, good questions. Pat and John, shout out. Thank you. Good discussion. I always enjoy when we get to actually, like, just kind of talk some golf, like the nuts and bolts. We don't.
Yeah, everybody's a little different,
that.
Right? You know?
Yeah.
But I get, that's probably one of the most popular questions I get from people that are 10 handicaps. Like, what do you do when you practice? Well, if I have 2 hours, here's what I do. But if I have an hour, here's what I do. Like, you can get really good practice session in if you have 45 minutes to an hour as an amateur golfer. Like, you know, pros need 5-6 hours a day. We do not, you know, to be capable.
Exactly. All right. Well, speaking of the pros, so Hideki won, which is really sick because I literally last week told you we have Hideki and Xander left. Why don't we just use them? Of course. Max Grayson did not win.
But he didn't come in last.
He did. I thought he was going to come in last. Sunday 63 will help. That was good. That was good for our guy.
He grinded for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah. He was like T30 something or whatever.
He was down at the very bottom of the leaderboard for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, we're on to Colorado, Castle Pines for the BMW Championship.
Which, by the way, is going to be fucking awesome.
Going to be sick, yeah. Everything about that course looks awesome. I really am not that familiar with it. But
I'm not either, but I just heard I've heard so many good things.
So many good things. Seen some of the flyovers. Like
ball's going to be flying forever, but it also plays like 8,000 yards. So
yeah, we're taking Xander. Obviously, we can't not use him. This is the last tournament.
This is it.
We are well and good out of it, but hey,
zero chance we get a win out of him. By the way, even though he's won 2 majors this year,
just feels like a star-crossed year. We just never really got in a groove. You know,
we always picked them, but not at the right time.
Yeah, and it was
like they've got like a lot of the stars we picked had good tournaments. They just didn't win.
Yeah.
Which the whole point is to pick the winner.
Exactly. Just not good all around. I do think one and done's changed significantly over the years. Obviously, these like huge, the signature events, the no cuts.
It makes it tougher because then you got to really ration the guys that are bigger names. So when they're playing the Honda, you trying to find a mid tier guy that's gonna maybe get their first win. You know, it's. Yeah, like Adam Schenk won there this year, and it's like I'm pretty sure that was his first win on tour. So
I have no idea who won the Honda.
But I think it was. But that's the whole point, though. It's like that used to never be that way. Whereas like you used to have like a handful of big names at most of these tournaments. Now, like the non-signature events, especially in that stretch run of like Masters into the U.S. Open, or into the PGA, like dudes are not going to go play the Honda. Nobody big is going to go play the Honda for the most part. So
that's because it doesn't exist.
Well, I guess okay.
I'm kidding. The Cognizant Classic.
Yeah, the Cognizant.
No, the weird thing was like it used to be like, okay, you've got the 4 majors and then the players or whatever, and it was like, all right,
focus on those.
We'll get you got to just get the right stud at those. Now there's like 12 events. You got to pick the right guy from the top 50 in the world. Yeah.
And then you have some no name win it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Right.
Glad I wasted Scotty Scheffler on this week when, I don't know, name mid-tier outside the top 60 world golf rankings winning.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just look, we made it to the finish line. Kind of glad it's over.
Yeah.
We'll see if we want to run it back next year or not.
Sad.
I know. It is a little bit sad too. The end of the.
I mean, we're going to end up running it back because we're going to get to January and God, I miss golf.
Yep.
I really need something to do during the winter. And then we're going to end up doing it. Yeah. I'm not even going to play the card of like, I don't know if we're going to do it. We're definitely going to do it. So
maybe we'll actually stick to a process this time.
We do need to stick to it. We did not have a very good process
too many times. We got too worried about the results.
I think we should stick the names that we have into a hat. Like you pick 3, I pick 3, put them in a hat, draw one out. That's who we take.
That would be wild. We'll figure that out. We'll workshop that as we get closer to next year.
Maybe we just do it for the first tournament to see how it goes.
I guess, yeah. All right. I think it's time. We're going to the patio beers. Anything goes.
And you went first last week. I know that for a fact.
Last week, yeah.
So I'm going first.
All right.
In honor of my fellow Twitter user, Country Club Snob,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. This is in his memory. If you created an alter ego or a parody account on Twitter, what would it be?
Oh, God, this is such a good question that I wish I had ever thought about before. Man. I'm going to do the classic. Do you have a thought?
I have a couple. I guess I have like a handful of them.
Yeah.
Only because like I would probably make one for each of my favorite teams. But it would be like an alter ego, like of a fan, right? That's like from a fan perspective.
Yeah.
The first one that came to my mind, my grandpa was the one that got me into Kentucky basketball. His name was Don, and he was from Pine Knot. Okay, Pine Knot, Kentucky. So like the Twitter would be Don. It'd be Don from Pine Knot. And like just act like the most ridiculous Kentucky fan in the world.
That's really good. That's really good. Oh, that's really good.
So that was like the first one I thought of. I'm like, and I actually kind of want to do it, but I'm outed already.
Yeah,
I'm already outed.
You just outed yourself.
God, that was the first one I thought of when I was thinking of it. And I was like, okay, that would be like in honor of my grandpa because, dude, he said some wild shit during Kentucky games.
Yeah.
Wild shit. Like,
I bet.
And he was around in the Rupp days and all that. So like I could take it way back with actual quotes.
Sure.
Like actual legitimate quotes he said.
Man, that's good. I'm trying to think like something specific. I know the tone would definitely be like snarky and unserious. Like that would be my tone. It's kind of up my humor alley.
It's tough.
You know
like,
what I think I would
really
do?
Tough.
This probably already exists, but look, that we're not bringing politics into this, but Donald Trump's tweets and everything, and like just the way he talks,
dude, it would be the easiest parody account that you could probably do.
And I would have to find the right lane for it, where it's like, Don tweeting about something or whatever. Like just
it would be a very easy parody. Like
and I'm sure it already probably exists. But like,
100%. I think there's like fucking 150,000 of them.
Sure, but yeah, so something along that lines where it's like that, where I don't know, just kind of like imitating something like that would be good. Man,
so could I say my next one?
Sure.
Obviously, I love Ohio State football. Ryan Day has like super red cheeks. You know how like people like do like so and so's mustache and it's like a Twitter account? It'd be Ryan Day's red cheeks.
God.
I have so many of these. I could go for days.
I think it's the fan lane is really good.
It's the easiest one.
The college sports is really easy to find, like the insanity within it is really easy to parody. Yeah, I just don't.
Do you want my third one?
Yeah, get him out there.
So obviously, this doesn't hit as hard because Aaron Rodgers is no longer with the Packers.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody knows very well about the immunized and this and that. I'd be on Twitter as Aaron Rodgers' doctor.
Oh man, that would be an electric factory for sure. Yeah,
and I can still do that even though he's on the Jets. I feel like I could find an avenue to really cook on there with that.
Yeah. God, there's just so many. Shout out to all the good parody accounts that have been around for a long time.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of some of the good golf ones that are still out there.
There was like the Secret Tour Pro. Everyone thought it was like Adam Scott for a long time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was so good.
Antifaldo, so good still.
And, dude, that dude cooks on there every day. Yeah. He absolutely cooks. A good golf one is
Club Pro guy.
He's the original. He is the original like alter ego parody.
Yeah.
Golf account.
Yes.
Like he was cooking on Twitter and then he turned it into like this dude.
He has like his whole universe of characters.
I'm so sad. Like, where's Thursday Night Golf League at? I need those videos back.
Maybe it's just out of our algo. We just
what was his girlfriend's name?
Oh man.
Was it Mindy?
No, it wasn't Tanya. No.
Yes, it was Tanya.
No, I think it starts with a T, but I don't think it was Tanya.
I'm pretty sure it was Tanya.
It might have been.
Or it wasn't Tammy, was it? No, it was Tanya. I'm pretty sure it was Tanya. Miguel, the greenscaper, is the best one. Miguel no water. They'd like post a picture and it'd be like a burnout green. And it'd like there'd be like a pond from like a broken sprinkler head. It's like Miguel says card scatter here.
Tawny, that was his girlfriend's name. Tawny.
Dude, he was the original though. He's like the original parody account on there.
God.
Antifaldo's very good.
Yeah, Antifaldo's a good.
He's one of my favorite ones on there. I mean, Country Club Snob went straight to the number one pretty fast. Like it was just too good.
His star just burned too bright, I guess.
It did, dude. He just burned out so quickly. Like the pores trademarked, like that's what he'd call someone a pour and then like put TM behind it.
Yeah.
And he was going to come out with some merch, which would have been, I would have 100% bought a pores trademark. But I'm trying to think of like another, like maybe not golf. That's a really good one.
I mean, there's endless in sports alone for sure.
God, there was one I just ran into the other day for Ohio State football, and it was fake urban, dude. Fake urban for Ohio State fans out there, awesome. And now they have a fake Ryan Day, very good too. Those are both pretty good ones. Yeah. He hadn't tweeted, fake urban hadn't tweeted in a while, and then he came back out like a couple weeks ago.
You know who I think you kind of get under their skin, maybe trigger them a little bit, would be Chiefs fans. I think there's
if you like
some
open
Mahomes
one
or Kelsey.
Oh my gosh,
you could do a little something in there to kind of stir the pot. And I would like to see
the other
them
thing.
mad.
Like doing them for fan bases that you don't like would be
that would be the alley I would go down.
Yeah, because it's just so easy. Because you know how to make fun of them, but it doesn't fire at you. It fires at people you don't like.
I think that would be a good route. You know who else would have a Jim Harbaugh parody account? There probably is those.
God. There might be a couple of those too. Yeah,
that guy would be easy to
but that was the funny thing is like when this whole Country Club Snob thing happened, he was essentially making fun of himself.
Yeah,
which made it that much. That's why it's funny. He's like, he's a member at a mid-tier club. And, they have power lines. That was his big thing. Like, they had power lines on that course. That's what makes it funny is the fact that you're punching at yourself, too. But punching at a fan base that you don't like would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fun. That's when you would get, like, doxxed, probably. There would be fans out there that would do some serious investigation to try to figure out who you were.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if they really started hating. Dude, I'm going to find a fan base I don't like and open one. That would just be too much fun.
Go for it. You may as well.
God, Twitter's awesome. Twitter's the best.
Twitter used to be the best.
No, it's always been the best. And it still cooks so hard.
Yeah, I just don't. Maybe I've just aged out.
It's a wild place to be nowadays, though. I will tell you that. There's no filters. You go to that For You page, dude, that For You section, wild. You're like, I don't even know why this is showing up. Like, I've never searched this.
Yeah.
And it's like some Indian guy trying to sell you, like, fake laptops. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a wild place.
I think, like...
It's the dark web, but, like, on the internet. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think, like, 2012 to, like, 2016 Twitter... was like the sweet spot.
It was peak Twitter. Yeah.
Like that kind of
It's before they like made all the community rules, but then it was like
it was after it kind of came out of like its infancy.
Yeah, it was kind of the Wild Wild West, but like moderated.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, bro, you want an account? You got an email? And then now you can get the blue check mark even if you don't have a ton of followers.
Yeah, see,
You pay for the blue check mark. So, like, validates some guys that you're like, it's probably some 12-year-old that's spending his $12 of his $15 allowance on a blue check mark on Twitter. That's a wild thing going on, know.
See, it's just, it's all bad. It's like, went from social media to social engineering. This is a dark place.
I still love it, though. I spend more time. I spend more time on X or Twitter than I do probably on any other social media.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because
unless
honestly,
you get down the Reels rabbit hole, that's the only time Instagram can get you.
But like honestly, Twitter's a great place. Like if you can follow people and you're not in the For You section because that's wild. Like you just have like porn pop up like randomly. I swear it happens all the time, dude.
Yeah,
it does.
Not good.
So if you go to your follow page, it's a good place to get news because everybody tweets stuff out on there. Like all the like breaking for like NFL and stuff like that. Like legitimate people you're following, like not the fake ones,
right?
Because there's a lot of those out there too that'll tweet out news. It's like Aaron Rodgers got traded or so and so got traded. It's like, dude, click in. This is one of the top personalities at ESPN. Do you really think they're going to have 92 followers?
Right.
You didn't even look at that and you just, on a whim, freaked out. So, like, if you stay in who you're following and you're following legitimate sources, that's a good place to be. Like, it's a good place to get news quickly.
Sure. Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
I'd say I'm addicted.
It's possible. All right, on to my question. This is something I think I want to expand it from this point. We're going to do, at some point, either power rankings or we're going to do a bracket or something. We're going to get a whole list of this going.
Okay.
But I don't know if we've actually expressly talked about this before. What is your biggest golf pet peeve?
Man, there's a couple of them.
And I kind of think non-slow play division, if I can put a rule on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like a slam dunk
It's
winner.
like everybody's.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part.
Yeah.
Human rain delays out there. Man. Honestly, someone else talking to my ball.
Yep. That's I think currently my number one.
I guess it just depends on the day. Like if I'm playing well and they're like, oh, like, you know, like get in for birdie or like sit. Like if I'm playing well, it probably doesn't bother me too much.
No, I think it's specific to a very certain scenario for me where your ball is tracking towards the hole. Everybody thinks it's going in.
You don't have to say it.
You don't have to say it, but someone's like starting to say good birdie or whatever, and you get the lip out.
Yeah. Yeah, or it's in. That's I mean, obviously, that's like one of the worst ones.
Just tilting beyond belief.
Oh, that's going in. Oh, hard right. Nope.
Yeah. Because there's no good reaction to it either. It's just like, oh.
Yeah. Like, well, that was sad.
Yeah, or whoever says it inevitably like
He's giving
says
the
something
there.
else worse. Like, yeah, that one's up there for me. Another one that's kind of been getting me recently, because look, we just mentioned about slow play. I appreciate ready golfers and all of that, but there are people who like you think they're playing ready golf, but then they like don't always
they don't always do it,
consistently do it. So you got like it's a scenario where like, okay, you're out. Like clearly, I know that I'm out and I should be hitting, but this person's been like they're over their ball taking practice swings already. You're like, okay, are you hitting? Am I hitting? Then you don't know. It gets you out of your rhythm, and then they look up and they like point at you, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess I am hitting.
Yeah,
like,
and that you know what I run into that a lot in tournaments, especially when I don't like for something like this where it's like not all Cincinnati guys. Like I know most of the mid-am people, like golfers in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So if I play with, I'm probably going to play with someone I played golf with before. Like this tournament, because there's people from like all over. Like I played with two guys from Columbus today. They knew each other. I didn't really know them. You know, it's like, does he like, you know, is he like a by the book guy, or is he, you know, is he ready golf? And you know, there's some confusion there today for sure. Like it's like, you know, I get up to my ball. I'm like, okay, I'm a foot in front of him, like a yard in front. I hit, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna wait here. But then it's like he's kind of a quick player, so I'm like, maybe he wouldn't care if I hit my shot. You know,
sure.
I don't know. It does get a little weird, but like if you say like I'm a ready golf person, and then you add some confusion into that, like you wait for me to hit when you're like you've been over there for a while. Then I'm like, you said you wanted to do ready golf, and now you're. Yeah, you've been ready for like a minute, and I'm still fucking around with my club.
Right.
You know, so that's a bad one.
Yeah, just because it's like, it's that I don't know. It gets you off, like I said, gets you off rhythm, and just, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else.
There are a ton of them, and I know it's just like hard to think on the spot. That's why we're going to circle back to this one at some point.
I mean, man, this is gonna sound like so minuscule compared to those two things. I don't like black socks and golf shoes.
That's fair.
I don't like black socks in general, but like I feel like with golf shoes, it's not a good look. And there's a lot of people that wear black socks.
I go black socks if I'm wearing black shoes.
Even then, I say that's probably the only acceptable time to do it. But even then, I would be like, well, white would still look good.
Yeah,
I think white would look better. But if you're gonna wear them, black shoes, it has to be black shoes.
Just since you brought up socks, this is not like a pet peeve of mine. I don't really care that much, but like the longer sock thing, it's coming back around.
Gotta go.
I just don't think
it's trash. No, it's not good. Yeah. I don't like it. I think it looks terrible. Like
I think it looks odd. Like we're not playing basketball.
No. Like I don't mind high top. Like I have a pair of high top golf shoes.
That's different.
But like wearing long socks is, and most of the time I see it's like wearing long sock with like, FootJoy comforts and stuff. Like what do we do? Like you have a long pair of Nike basketball socks on with like FootJoy comforts on. Like that looks like it looks awful.
Yeah,
it happened in the AM.
I could maybe see it if you were legitimately wearing like golf high tops. Okay,
one of the maybe, but there's still like mid high socks that like would go to the top of the high tops, but they wouldn't go over the top, high tops.
Yeah.
There was one of the guys that made the final in the AM had long socks on. I think on Friday. I'm like, dude, and they were like black and yellow and orange, and I'm like, what do we? Just please tell me you just didn't pack enough clothes. Like that is the only acceptable time to wear those socks on the golf course.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of more pet peeves because there's a million of them.
There's a lot of them, but those are like talking to my ball. Don't like that. And I guess on the opposite side of the ready golf thing, like be ready to hit when it's your turn. Like if especially like ready golf, not ready golf, like let's just say you're not playing ready golf. When it's your turn, like be ready.
Yeah. Like
you knew you were next. How are we still fiddling with stuff right now? You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
That is frustrating too.
I have another one. And I don't know if this bothers me that much or not. I can't decide. Maybe if you agree with me, then it'll get me more fired up to be mad about it. People that putt after you tell them it's good.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't even care if you're just like going to tapping it. Like, it's good, man. Just we're all saying this because it's good.
I guess it depends on what you're playing in. So, like, if it's like a match or like a match play, I'm picking it up. Like, I'm not gonna. I may go. Because in
you
match
should
play,
because you don't want to give any doubt to it.
Yeah, but also like, just I get it out of there. You can always go back. Match play is the one thing you can actually go back and hit a putt.
Yeah,
you can actually do that, and it's not a penalty. But you can't do that in stroke play. Wednesday night league, I may just still like hit it in. Like I don't know.
What about what's worse, that or people like that ask you if it's good?
Oh yeah, like it happened to us a couple times in the Stampede this year. It was like, this isn't good. Did I say it was good?
Yeah, you can't ask.
Like now that you ask, and a lot of times, like a putt, I won't say it's good until I see us hit our putts, and it's like, yeah, this might be good. But now, if that's the case and you ask, you're definitely putting it out. Like, is that just like you're trying to get in and out of there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like try to like pull the wool over my eyes or something. Because a lot of times it'll be like the first person that putts and hits it up to like 2.5 feet, 2 feet. It's like, okay, if we nestle this up,
you might go up, they tell you it's good, you'd be like, yeah, pick it up or whatever.
Yeah, like yeah, pick yours up. But if I'm doing that and you ask before we hit our putts, 100% putting that. Like there's no. That's what happened to us. Like I wanted to see our putt. Like we had a chip and a putt, and I was like, I want to see these before. I was like, it's probably good, and we hit it up. And we had one that was like 6 inches. They told us it was good, picked it up.
Yeah.
But like before we hit ours, he was like, oh, this isn't good. And I was like, no. And then he put the mark down and I looked at Ryan. I was like, he's putting that. Like, if you ask me if it's good, that means you do not want to putt that putt.
Exactly.
I mean, he ended up making it, but still.
Right.
But it's a weird thing to ask. Like, oh, you're just like assuming that I'm going to like give you that? You know, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It does kind of make you a little mad. It makes me a little mad.
Yeah, it's just just unbecoming. It's just unbecoming behavior.
Well, and another thing too, right? Like if it's outside of a foot and it's to win the hole, I'm 100% want to see that ball go in. Now, if it's 6 inches, you're not missing that, right? But if it's outside of a foot, like I'd like to at least see it go in and lose the hole, you know?
Sure.
And like I might be on the outside on that opinion, but like I gave who was it that gave the final putt? Ricky. I gave him a ton of shit for giving him that putt in the Ryder Cup. It's to win the Ryder Cup, dude.
Yeah, just make him
putt 2 feet. Make him putt the fucking ball in the hole.
Right.
If that's a regular match on Friday morning, pick it up. But it was to win the Ryder Cup. You know, like it's a win the hole. Like you're putting it.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a bigger pet peeve for me than I thought.
I think it is. There's, like I said, there's tons and tons in golf because it's not just like etiquette stuff. It's also like, dress things.
It's like the unwritten rules. There's so many unwritten rules in golf.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways that things can be a little.
I will say this, and this goes at public courses too. Not a big fan of people wearing hats in the clubhouse. Like I would like you to take your hat off, like if you're inside, especially a private club.
What?
Yeah,
you're on that block now.
Mm-hmm. That's a respect thing.
My
my grandma always told me like you don't wear hats inside. Like
I do, you know what? That is kind of like I remember growing up a couple times, like grandparents being like, "Gotta have a hat on" or whatever, and they like make you take it off for dinner. Or whatever, if you're the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like especially a private club. It's like you are invited to this place. Like especially,
sure,
you've been invited to this place. Like take your hat off inside.
Yeah, if it's a rule or whatever.
Even then, if it's not a rule, like I think at a nicer place, you should be taking your hat off inside. Like read the room, because a lot of places you'll go, like I've been to a handful of really nice places, and it's like you walk in, no one has, like pros don't have hats on, no members have take your hat off. Like don't be the guy that's the only one
here's
wearing
your sign moment.
In a lot of places, it's not like a quote unquote rule. It's just like an unwritten like way of going about things. You know.
God, I'm about to sound really.
I always do it. Like it is a habit for me at this point. Like if I walk in, like even like our lodge, right? Like I don't do it in the pro shop, but like in our lodge, like I'll take my hat off. I always do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever noticed that.
Guy. Big respect guy. I'm gonna sound really uncool. This will be the last one, and we'll get out of here. But, tuck your shirt in.
Yeah,
I can't get down with the untucked shirt.
No,
like while you're playing or whatever. Okay, maybe after the fact, if you're in a public course in a private, not a private place that has rules about that. If you want to untuck your shirt and you're just hanging out, fine. But I can't get down with the untucked shirt on the course.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
No, I've never been about that.
No,
never been about that.
Never been about that.
I think it just looks like trash.
That's my thing. It just looks bad.
It does.
There are very few polos that are like actually cut and made for you to wear untucked. For the
very,
most part,
very, very few.
They're too long or they're not long enough.
They look like
or
crap.
Whatever. They just don't look good untucked.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Yeah, I think, again, I think it's like, even at a public course, it's like one of those unwritten rules. It's like, it's just not what you're supposed to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember when I was going through Pee Wee League, like, the first things they talked about were tucking your shirt in, you know, on top of other, like, fixing ball marks and stuff like that. I was like, tuck your shirt in. Like, you, collared shirt. I'd go as far as saying no cargo shorts. Like, I think those are not golf appropriate. We're 100%. Not out here hiking.
Don't wear pleats either.
I'm not going to go that far, but I don't have any, but I'm not going to go that far. But like cargo shorts, like that's for hiking, not golfing.
That's for festivals and street or state fairs. That's what that's for.
And maybe you're a 1990s drug dealer. I don't know. Like those are the only people that wear cargo shorts.
Sure. All right. Well, that was good. Yeah, there's something there. We're gonna either power rank some stuff.
I feel like I could sit here and think of 8 more.
I want to do a bracket. I think getting some input on how to see these things and getting some community.
A bracket would be a good one.
Get a little engagement out there, see what wins.
We could probably do 16 of them. I think that would be a good number.
Yeah, 16,
and do a bracket.
For sure. So, yeah, if anybody listening, shoot us a text with that link in the show description.
If you want to try to get a pet peeve.
Yeah, let us know what your pet peeves are. We're going to start taking nominations for this bracket.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
I can't believe I just, went with the Gator. Never been about that.
Yeah, you brought me into it.
It just came out.
I know. Okay. Well, hey, if you made it this long, you know what? Little humble brag for myself. Your boy started a new job today.
Yeah, he did.
So if you're listening to this, I am an employee of PFF, Pro Football Focus.
Chris Collinsworth.
I'm on the same org chart as Chris Collinsworth somehow.
When you get to work every day, you got to slide in your rolling chair. That's a requirement.
And I do. I got to work on my sliding. I should do that to every meeting.
slide in. Oh my God. If I worked for them and I saw you do that, I would piss myself.
Oh yeah.
It'd be so funny.
I've already seen some ball knower jokes and stuff around the Slack channels.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good spot. I'm excited about it. And hey, if you want to support me, no free ads except for my employer can get a free ad here. Look, fantasy season is upon us.
It is.
NFL season is upon us.
God.
Dude, best data and tools in the business. We're running a sale right now. Promo code PFF25, 25% off.
I might have to do
PFF Plus. Yeah, look, at a minimum, it's going to make you a better football fan. You watch the game from a different perspective.
Maybe a better
fantasy player. You can literally sync your league to the tools, and it can give you start-sit recommendations, draft analysis, all that stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
Cannot wait for fantasy. I've got a drafting strategy I'm taking this year. I cannot wait.
All Packers again? Are you back on the Packers?
No. We're off. I might have a couple, but and that'll help your fantasy. Yeah. I've won recently in the last 5 years.
Yep, I've still not won. Thank you.
Well, hey, maybe you shouldn't do the PFF package.
It's going to make me better, maybe. Who knows? All right. Well, on that note, Member Guest Friday. We'll be back Monday to break that down, hopefully with another winner on the board. Not named Justin. No, I'm kidding. You can win too. It's fine. Until then, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.